Hi, good morning, welcome back. Now today, changing the oil in the primary chain case on a Harley Davidson Big Twin. And I say just Big Twin and nothing more specific because this is exactly the same procedure of oil change on any Big Twin, whether it's a Dyna, a Touring or a Softail, or a twin cam or even a Milwaukee 8. This is exactly the same procedure. So this should serve many of you if you're looking to change the oil in your primary chain case. And while I'm at it, as doing the oil change means taking this derby cover off, I'll have access to the clutch. So I may as well do the clutch adjustment as well. And again, any of these Big Twin models that have an adjustable clutch is exactly the same procedure. The only ones that are different are the far later models with a self-adjusting clutch, but this one isn't. So I'm going to do that as well. So first job, let's lay out the tools and the materials. You'll need a T27 Torx bit and a 5/8 socket, an 11/16 step ring spanner, a small torque wrench, some Imperial Allen keys, a seal pick, some rubber gloves, a new O-ring for the sump plug, a 9/16 open ender, a 1/2 inch open ender, a Phillips screwdriver, some spray lube, a soft cloth, a rubber spatula, a drain pan that will hold at least a litre, a jug for clean oil and a jug for waste oil, and of course, some oil. Oh, and not forgetting some patience and a sense of humour, because this is a Harley Davidson. Right, first thing we do before we drain the oil out is take the derby cover off, put it to one side and check the oil level before we start. There's a reason for that, I'll cover it in a minute. Hand on the cover, take the last one out. And here's a reason for your soft cloth. Lay the derby cover on it back first, so you don't scratch it. Right, okay, now the oil level's a little bit high in there. It's not a problem, soon rectify that. It's just convenient if when you check it, the oil level happens to be perfect. If it is, that's great, because you drain it out, wait till it stops, put the bung back in, and then put exactly the same amount of new oil in as the waste oil that came out. Just measure it and do the same exactly. And when you put your fresh oil in, exactly the same that came out, your oil level will be perfect first time. It's just really convenient. But in this instance, no matter, I'll just check it, look at it a few times, and I'll get it right this time. Right, drain plug is at your lowest point, can't miss it, sticking down underneath there, that's your 5/8 socket. There it is. Forget your drain pan. Look at that. Spotless. Lovely. Right, let's have a new O-ring. Take the old one off. That one. There it is. Right, now that primary oil is quite black, and that comes from the dust that comes off the soft material on the clutch plates themselves. That soft material is pretty much the same as your brake pad material, and you've seen the black dust you get on your calipers. That's exactly what that is. It ends up in the primary oil, and that indicates that your clutch is marching through its service life nicely. The bike's got 30,000 miles. That clutch is probably halfway through its service life, and that indicates that my clutch pack will now need adjusting. And adjusting the clutch is actually a part of your 5,000 mile service regime anyway, so we'll do that next. Now, as with the last two videos I said on the engine oil purge change and the gearbox oil, I have made close-up detailed tutorials on all of these processes in the past, including the clutch adjustment. So with that, I'll leave a link to the clutch adjustment video in the description below if you want a detailed up-close tutorial that will walk you through it step by step, even if it's your very first time. But for today, with this one, I'll just get on with it. Right, now we're down to 1 drip every 60 seconds. That's good enough for me. Let's put the bung back in. 14 to 21 Newton meters. Click. So get it right, the amount of oil you put in your primary. It doesn't matter if you follow a manual and it says a wet fill, this many ounces. Don't just chuck them in blindly because you don't know how much wet oil is left in there. Could be more, could be less, and you end up like this scenario and overfilled. Always visually check the level at the bottom of the clutch plates for yourself. Then you won't go wrong. And as I made mention of in the last video about the gearbox oil, this Formula Plus, this will be recommended in your manual. All good stuff, use it, there's nothing wrong with it, but it is a universal oil for your primary chain case and your gearbox. I said all about that in the last video. I'm not really impressed with that. What I prefer is a dedicated primary fluid for my primary, and it makes it clear on here. It says, easy shifts into neutral, prevents slip and consistent clutch feel. This is designed specifically for primaries only, and I like that. But you use what works for you. There's the oil, and that line there is the bottom of the clutch pack. So that is perfect. Right there. There, absolute proof. That level in there is perfect. I put exactly a litre in the jug, and that much is left over. So that proves the point. Doesn't matter how much or what quantity of oil you put in, as long as the level is correct, you're good to go. Right, now just a quick word, if I may, about these derby cover screws. There's 5 of them, they're T27 and they're woefully fragile. They seem to be a great source of anxiety for many people. Even these here, when I come to take them out, I had to stand up and lean on them because they were way over tightened. There's just no need for it. They're very commonly damaged. You can either strip out the T27 head itself, so you can't get a tool in there, you have to drill them out. You can snap them off altogether, I've seen that happen, and also you can strip the thread out of the primary case, and that's very expensive to fix. There's no need to do any of that, honestly. They're really not a source of anxiety if you just think it through. You can either use a torque wrench, they're 90 to 108 inch-pounds, that's fine, it'll do the job, little diddy one, or if you haven't got one, there's an old school mechanics trick that will make sure you can do them up perfectly okay, they'll stay put, and you'll never have a problem. It goes a bit like this, quarter drive ratchet, extension bar, snap it together, you've got T27 in the end, and instead of operating the ratchet in the normal manner, which gives you loads of power, loads of strength, ready to snap them off with, instead of that, grab the top of the ratchet and poke the extension out between your first 2 fingers. Then all you can do to operate that is twist the wrist, and that's a lot more sensitive, a lot less powerful than holding the handle, and that means you won't overdo it. So just go over them in a star pattern as usual, and make sure, just snug them up. That's all they need. This is old school mechanics common sense. Just snug them up, nip them up, that's all they need. And this is what you normally refer to as wrist tight. Just use your wrist rather than the arm. And that will make sure that you won't break any off and they won't leak. You'll be fine. Well, there we are. That's the 3 oils changed and a clutch adjustment, all part of a major service. And if they've all been a bit brief for you, then I've done detailed close-up tutorials of all these 4 jobs in the past, and I'll leave links to all 4 of those videos below. And you can watch those even if you've never done it before. They're methodical step-by-step tutorials. You'll be able to follow them pace by pace and go through it and do that yourself if that's what you want to do. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Lots more to come. I'll see you next time.